For centuries, the Galactic Imperium had mapped every star system, catalogued every spacefaring civilization from the gleaming crystal worlds of the Zephyri to the plasma-forged armadas of the Ralthan. Their scanners and probes had even swept the distant fringes of the outer reach, but Earth, a small blue-green speck tucked inside a middling spiral arm, was dismissed as a cosmic backwater. The Imperium's analysts classified humanity as a non-threat, a pre-FTL species quarantined by outdated protocols and overlooked treaties. No alien fleet would waste resources investigating this pale planet where the dominant species still debated the value of spaceflight. They called it the primitive experiment, a system not worth the trouble, but the truth was very different. Deep, beneath the frozen surface of Jupiter's moon Europa, the HSS Valkyrie waited. The warship was a sleek shadow, carved from composites forged in gravity-forged foundries on Earth and alloyed with exotic metals harvested from asteroids. More than that, it was a vessel born from humanity's most daring gamble. The fusion of alien tech scavenged from millennia-old wrecks and the relentless innovation of Earth's top minds. Captain Elena Torres stood on the observation deck, gazing out at the swirling clouds of Jupiter's atmosphere far below. The massive gas giant, long considered a guardian against invaders, now served as a silent witness to humanity's secret. A prototype warship capable of bending the rules of warfare in a galaxy where everything was already known. Status. Report, she said, her voice calm but edged with anticipation. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Darius Chen, swiped through the holoscreen. All systems nominal. Power core stabilizing at 105%. Weapons calibration complete. We are ready for final test, Captain. Elena nodded. Good. The Imperium thinks we're just an agricultural backwater. Let's keep it that way, and for now. Thousands of kilometers away in the Imperium's stellar archive aboard the dreadnought Caliber, Admiral Koresh frowned at the incoming data stream. The probe had detected something odd near the Jovian system, an unknown craft moving at sublight speeds, emitting energy signatures unlike anything on record. Sir, the object appears to be a warship, but the design is unconventional. The meteor tech level is inconsistent with pre-FTL worlds. Koresh rubbed his jaw. Could be a rogue experiment or a pirate ship masquerading in forbidden space. He tapped his comlink. Send a scout fleet. I want eyes on that system immediately. Back, on Earth in the subterranean command center known as the Ark, the mood was electric. Engineers and scientists crowded around banks of consoles, watching streams of data from the Valkyrie's sensors. The crew had trained for this moment for years, the day Earth would announce its arrival to the galaxy. Dr. Amara Singh, the chief scientist behind the project, stood at the center of the room, her eyes bright despite the sterile glow of the control panels. The Imperium has ignored us for too long. They think we're primitive because they've never seen what we're capable of. She turned to the crew. Our test today isn't just about weapons or speed. It's a message, one shot across the bow. When the Imperium comes knocking, they'll find a humanity they never expected. On the icy surface of Europa, the Valkyrie's engines thrummed quietly, a low pulse felt through the hull. This was no ordinary power source. Inside the ship's core, a singularity reactor spun in microgravity, its containment fields flickering like a heartbeat. Elena checked the weapon systems, the fold-sheared rail lance, designed to send projectiles through localized folds in space-time, making traditional shields useless. The Imperium's fleet relied on outdated energy barriers and kinetic absorption fields. Against the Valkyrie, their defenses were obsolete. Arm weapons, Elena ordered. Around her, the crew tensed, knowing this was not just a test, but a prelude to war. Thousands of kilometers away, the scout fleet approached Jupiter's orbit, their sleek ships gleaming under the distant sun. Admiral Koresh stood on the bridge of the Sentinel, the fleet's flagship. Prepare hailing frequencies. Let's see if these primitives know how to talk, he muttered. The Imperium ships formed a crescent around the Jovian system, sensors locked on the dark silhouette rising from Europa's ice. Suddenly, a transmission burst through the static. Warning, live fire test in progress. Turn back immediately. Koresh's lips curled into a sneer. Empty threats. Ready weapons. If they want a fight, we'll give them one. The Valkyrie's rail lance charged silently. Then, with a flash that fractured the blackness of space, it fired. 7 of the Imperium's ships vanished in an instant, their hulls torn apart by slugs that traveled faster than light through folded space, bypassing every known defense. Chaos erupted in the fleet. Screams of orders echoed as the remaining ships scrambled to respond. But the Valkyrie was only beginning. From the shadows of Jupiter's swirling storms, autonomous drones emerged invisible until it was too late. Imperium ships exploded one after another, their captains helpless against an enemy they had deemed insignificant. Elena watched the destruction through the Valkyrie's view screen. A single thought burned in her mind. They underestimated us. They always do. And now humanity was ready to remind the galaxy why Earth would no longer be ignored. The charred remains of the 7 vaporized Imperium warships hung like twisted skeletons against the swirling storms of Jupiter, a grim testament to the Valkyrie's sudden, merciless power. On board the flagship Sentinel, Admiral Koresh's eyes narrowed as alarms blared and the fleet scrambled to regroup. "Shields are failing. They're using some kind of spatial distortion weapon," shouted his tactical officer, sweat beading on his brow. Koresh slammed his fist on the console. "Hold. Formation. Return fire at will." But the Imperium's conventional weapons slammed uselessly against the Valkyrie's hull. The ship shimmered briefly, its surface rippling like a disturbed pond, then vanished, only to reappear behind a cruiser and deliver a devastating blow that sent the vessel spinning into space debris. The Imperium fleet's confidence shattered, as more of their ships were shredded by the prototype's fold-sheared rail lance and swarming autonomous drones. Panic rippled through the ranks. Back on Earth, the United Coalition's War Council convened in the underground chamber of the Ark, glowing with screens and live feeds from the battle. Dr. Amara Singh paced anxiously while General Malik stood, at attention, his face a hard mask of determination. 3 ships lost already, Malik reported grimly. "If we don't end this fast, reinforcements will arrive." Amara shook her head. "This isn't just a fight, it's a statement. The Imperium has underestimated us for too long. Our technology is years ahead of what they expect. But we must remain cautious. Their response fleet will be massive." The Valkyrie's captain, Elena Torres, joined the meeting remotely, her image flickering in the room. "The prototype's weapon systems are functioning beyond expectations, but the reactor is pushing limits. We have minutes before we risk system failure." Amara nodded. "Then make every shot count." Back near Jupiter, the Imperium fleet retreated under a hail of precise, brutal attacks. Admiral Koresh realized the humans weren't just fighting. Defensively, they were probing, testing, learning from each encounter. Their AI algorithms adapted with terrifying speed, predicting maneuvers and outflanking Imperium formations. Koresh cursed his superiors for dismissing the threat and prepared an emergency jump back to Caldris Prime. "Send this report up the chain. The humans have a weapon unlike anything we've faced." But the Imperium bureaucracy was slow and dismissive. Caldris Prime's High Council regarded Koresh's warnings as paranoid cries from a defeated admiral. "Humanity is insignificant. Do not escalate." Meanwhile, on Earth, the victory celebration was tempered by sober reflection. The prototype had proven its power, but at what cost? The Valkyrie's reactor core emitted a low hum of instability, and the weapon systems flickered intermittently. Elena gathered her officers. "We're not ready for a prolonged war. We forced their retreat today, but we're exposed and vulnerable," she said firmly. "The Imperium will come back, bigger, stronger." Lieutenant Chen frowned. "What about diplomatic channels? Maybe we can negotiate peace." Elena shook her head. "The Imperium sees us as nuisances. They won't negotiate until we force them to." On Caldris Prime, a new order was taking shape. The High Council authorized the formation of a massive expeditionary fleet, 300 warships, each equipped with the latest in Imperium technology, designed to crush Earth's rebellion and reassert dominance. Lord Admiral Trevek, a ruthless veteran, known for wiping out insurrections with brutal efficiency, was given command. His reputation preceded him. No fleet had ever survived an encounter with the Iron Fist. In the shadows of the council chambers, a Zentari defector named Rylena approached Trevik. Her dark eyes were sharp with knowledge. "The humans are not what you expect, Lord Admiral," she warned. "Their technology, especially that singularity reactor and fold space weapons, breaks every rule. They innovate rapidly. You cannot win with brute force alone." Trevik smirked. "I have crushed tougher foes than primitives playing with stolen toys. They will fall." But Rylena's warning lingered in the back of his mind. Back on Earth, as news of the skirmish spread quietly through galactic channels, Earth's scientists and engineers worked feverishly. Dr. Singh led a team developing 2 sister ships to the Valkyrie, each designed to test complementary technologies. One focused on advanced stealth and electronic warfare, the other on enhanced defensive shielding and drone swarms. The War Council authorized rapid production, aware that Earth's time advantage was narrowing. Elena stood on the dock beside the newly built vessels named Cerberus and Aegis. She placed her hand on the hull of Cerberus, feeling the vibrations of potential within. "We're the last line of defense, and the first step toward a new era," she said quietly. In the void near Jupiter, the crippled Imperium fleet limped away under constant harassment from human drones. Every loss was a message. The age of complacency was over. Deep within the Valkyrie, Elena's voice broadcast a simple warning across the void. To the Galactic Imperium, "You have ignored us. You have underestimated us. We are no longer your experiment to dismiss. Turn back now or face the consequences." The transmission ended with a pulse, a silent promise of the war to come. The void between Jupiter and Earth was cold and silent, but that quiet was deceptive. On board the battered flagship Sentinel, Admiral Koresh paced, haunted by the crushing defeat. His fleet had been shattered in minutes, the remnants scattered, and limping toward the nearest jump gate. The Valkyrie had struck like a shadow, swift, merciless, and impossible to predict. "Status report," Koresh barked to his tactical officer. "Shields offline on Dawnfire and Ironclad. Engines damaged across the fleet. Morale is dangerously low." Koresh clenched his fists. "We underestimated them. That's on me. But we will not fall without striking back." Meanwhile, in the depths of Europa's ice crust, the HSS Valkyrie hummed quietly, her singularity reactor glowing with contained power. Captain Elena Torres stood on the bridge, her gaze fixed on the flickering tactical displays. "We took heavy risks today, but the Imperium has seen only a fraction of what we can do," she said softly. Lieutenant Chen turned from the weapons console. "Sir, sensors detect Imperial reinforcements en route. Larger fleet, possibly over 200 vessels." Elena nodded grimly. "Then we have precious little time to prepare. Earth must be ready." Back on Earth's surface, the global broadcast transmitted the message of the Valkyrie's victory in encrypted channels across the coalition networks. In crowded command centers, military leaders debated the path forward. "We forced them to retreat," General Malik said. "But the Imperium won't stop. They'll send overwhelming force." Dr. Amara Singh's eyes gleamed with determination. "Good, because we're ready to fight smarter. Our prototypes aren't just weapons, they're ideas. We innovate. They stagnate." The Imperium High Council, seated in their towering citadel on Caldris Prime, listened to Koresh's report with a mixture of disbelief and disdain. "Primitive Earthlings shattered our fleet with a single warship," sneered Councillor Valen. "This reeks of exaggeration." Lord Admiral Trevek, summoned for the first time, rose from his seat. "Let me remind you, councillors, that the humans have disrupted order in the outer reach before. We must respond swiftly and with overwhelming force." The council murmured agreement, setting the wheels of war into motion. Aboard the Valkyrie, Elena studied the tactical display. The ship's AI, an advanced quantum system named Astra, had been silently analyzing the Imperium's response. "Astra, assess fleet composition and probable tactics," Elena ordered. "Calculating," Astra replied in a calm, metallic voice. Enemy fleet consists of 220 vessels, heavy cruisers to assault frigates with reinforced command ships. They will likely employ massed formations with broad energy barrages and electronic jamming. Elena's jaw tightened. And their weakness? Reluctance. To adapt tactics rapidly, predictable patterns in formation and engagement protocols. We will exploit this. In the cold reaches near Jupiter, the battered Imperium fleet limped toward a jump gate when an unexpected transmission broke through. Encrypted channels. This is Captain Elena Torres of the HSS Valkyrie. You have trespassed into Earth's sovereign space. Cease all hostile actions and withdraw immediately or be destroyed. The message was clear, but Koresh was furious. Prepare counterattack, he snarled. They think a single ship can dictate terms to the Imperium? Before the fleet could respond, the Valkyrie executed a sudden impossible maneuver. Using its fold space propulsion prototype, it appeared at the fleet's vulnerable flank, then vanished again. The Valkyrie unleashed a devastating salvo of fold-sheared rail lancefire and automated drones. 6 more warships disintegrated in bursts of plasma and debris. On board the Valkyrie, Elena watched the chaos unfold with cold precision. Target the command ship, she ordered. If we cut their communication and coordination, the fleet will fall apart. Lieutenant Chen's fingers danced across the console, locking weapons, launching drones. Small, sleek drones swarmed the Sentinel, bypassing shields and disabling communications with precision EMP blasts. The command ship shuddered under assault, its crew scrambling to maintain control. In the Imperium flagship's command room, Admiral Koresh faced chaos. Alarms blared, systems flickered. The communication network was fractured. Emergency backup protocols, rally the fleet, he shouted, but the damage was done. The fleet faltered, retreating in disarray toward the jump gate. Koresh knew this battle was lost, but the war was only beginning. Back on Earth, celebrations erupted quietly in the Ark. The Valkyrie had struck the first blow and shattered the myth of human weakness. Dr. Singh smiled grimly. They thought we were a curiosity. Now they know we're a threat. Elena removed her helmet, exhaling slowly. This was only the beginning. The galaxy had been warned. Humanity was no longer a primitive experiment. They were a force to be reckoned with, and the Imperium would soon learn the true meaning of underestimating Earth. Beneath the surface of Earth's bustling cities and sprawling spaceports, a deeper story was unfolding, one known to very few. While the Imperium and other galactic powers remained frozen in their cycles of complacency and tradition, Earth's hidden alliance of scientists, engineers, and visionaries had been quietly rewriting the rules of technology for decades. In ET, secure chamber within the Ark, Dr. Amara Singh stood before a holographic display, tracing patterns of data gleaned from ancient relics and wreckage collected over years of clandestine expeditions. These artifacts, remnants of long-forgotten galactic battles, held secrets that many species had lost or ignored. Every civilization that rose and fell left behind pieces, she said, artifacts beyond our initial understanding. But it wasn't just about salvage. It was about interpretation. We reverse-engineered alien AI systems, deciphered their programming languages, and built upon them. Around her, a group of engineers nodded, their eyes reflecting the glowing symbols dancing in mid-air. Far above Europa, in orbit around Jupiter, the 3 prototype warships, Valkyrie, Cerberus, and Aegis, drifted like sentinels. Each had been born from different branches of research, designed to test humanity's multifaceted approach to warfare. Cerberus, cloaked in an adaptive stealth field, specialized in electronic warfare and countermeasures, able to mask its presence and jam enemy sensors. Aegis was a fortress, bristling with drone swarms and layered defenses, capable of sustaining heavy damage while protecting its fleetmates. The Valkyrie was the Spear, the breakthrough singularity reactor powering its fold space weapons, an engine that bent space itself to send lethal projectiles faster than light. This is why the Imperium can't comprehend us, Elena said quietly on the Valkyrie's bridge. They're trapped in their ancient doctrines, forbidden from pursuing AI warfare or singularity drives. Their laws choke innovation. Lieutenant Chen looked over at her. And we embraced what they feared. We broke every taboo. Elena nodded. We didn't wait for permission. We adapted, innovated, and survived. They never saw us coming. Back on Earth, in the sprawling cities, a new generation of scientists pushed further. Quantum entanglement relays hummed softly in underground labs, linking Earth with distant rebel worlds suffering under Imperium rule. Earth's open-source technology network was growing, not just a fortress, but a beacon. Amara Singh addressed her team. We share our knowledge with those who have been crushed by the Imperium's iron grip. This is bigger than Earth. It's the beginning of a coalition built on innovation, freedom, and defiance. Meanwhile, the Imperium reeled from the shock. Their spies and scouts had reported the Valkyrie's singularity reactor, but no one believed such a thing was possible, especially one stabilized and weaponized by a species they considered primitive. Admiral Koresh, still recovering from the defeat, was sidelined by the Council. Your failure cost us dearly, the High Council chastised. Your assessment was flawed. The humans are insignificant. But others saw the danger. Centauri defector Rylena watched the Council's dismissals with growing concern. They are not insignificant, she told Trevik in a hushed meeting. They are evolving faster than any species in our history. Their singularity tech alone threatens to unravel everything. Trevik grunted. We'll crush them before they can grow. But even he couldn't ignore the reports of Earth's expanding fleet. 2 more prototype warships launched, construction underway on dozens more, each integrating lessons learned from the first skirmish. Back in the Orcs command room, Elena studied new sensor readings. The Imperium's next move was clear. An overwhelming response fleet designed to annihilate Earth before it could solidify its position. We have a window, she said. If we can disrupt their logistics and delay their fleet, we can buy time to finish production. Lieutenant Chen smirked. Then let's make their arrival painful. That night, while most of humanity slept unaware of the coming storm, Earth's hidden fleets trained in simulated battles, running drills across the solar system's frozen moons and asteroid belts. On Europa, the Valkyrie's hull shimmered under the faint glow of Jupiter's storms as it prepared for another test run. Elena's voice echoed through the ship's corridors. We've been ignored for too long. We've been underestimated. Now we fight not just to survive, but to change the fate of the galaxy. In the farthest reaches of the Imperium, whispers spread among those who watched Earth with a mixture of fear and fascination. The humans, once dismissed as quaint primitives, were waking from their slumber, and the galaxy would never be the same. The Imperium's response was swift and ruthless. Within weeks, the colossal expeditionary fleet had assembled in the Caldris Prime system, over 300 warships, their hulls gleaming cold under the twin suns. The flagship Iron Fist, under Lord Admiral Trevik's command, bristled with weapons and commanded a fleet designed for annihilation. Yet beneath the surface of this overwhelming force, cracks ran deep. The Imperium's vast dominion was held together by fear and strict obedience. Many worlds seethed with resentment, quietly feeding rebels and conspirators who saw the rising power of Earth as a beacon of hope. Among these dissidents was Kalen Voss, a former Imperium officer who had fled after witnessing the brutal suppression of his homeworld Kira. In the shadowed halls of the Outer Reach, he coordinated a loose coalition of rebels, pirates, and disenfranchised factions, all united by a common goal: to challenge the Imperium's iron grip. We've watched Earth rise quietly, Kalen said during a secretive council meeting. Their technology, their defiance, it's the spark we need. But they can't fight this war alone. We must join them. A murmur of agreement rippled through the room. If the Imperium falls, so does their tyranny, another voice added. Far from the rebel stronghold, aboard the Valkyrie, Captain Elena Torres received encrypted transmissions from these underground movements. Earth was not just a solitary fighter. It was the heart of a growing resistance. Captain, Lieutenant Chen reported, we're receiving coded requests for support. Rebel factions want to synchronize attacks on Imperium supply lines ahead of the main fleet's arrival. Elena's expression hardened. Good. Let's make sure the Imperium doesn't get a clean runway to Earth. Back on Caldris Prime, Lord Admiral Trevik studied the intelligence reports carefully. These insurgents could weaken us, he growled, but their scattered nature makes them easy prey. Centauri defector Rylena, now serving as his advisor, shook her head. They are more organized than you realize. Earth's influence is spreading fast. Trekek's eyes burned with cold resolve. Then we crush both rebels and Earthlings alike. No exceptions. On Earth, preparations accelerated. The Orcs shipyards churned out new vessels, each iteration integrating advances from the Valkyries' engagements. The Cerberus and Aegis were ready to join the fight, along with two new vessels, Helios and Sentinel, named to symbolize humanity's resolve and vigilance. In the War Council chamber, General Malik addressed the assembled leaders. The Imperium will not give us peace. They intend to crush us with force. Our advantage lies in innovation and alliances. Dr. Singh stepped forward. We have established quantum communication links with rebel factions. Coordinated strikes on supply routes and staging grounds will slow the Imperium's advance. Elena stood beside them, voice steady. We fight a war on multiple fronts, on the battlefield and in the shadows. Our survival depends on unity and relentless adaptation. Out in the void, the Valkyrie and its sister ships slipped through asteroid fields and deep space corridors, scouting for weak points in the Imperium's massive fleet logistics. Lieutenant Chen piloted Cerberus in a stealth run, cloaked and undetectable. I'm inside the supply convoy's escort perimeter, he whispered through comms. Elena's voice crackled in his ear. Deploy drones. Disrupt communications. We want chaos, not slaughter. Small spider-like drones spilled from Cerberus, swarming over enemy vessels. They knocked out sensor arrays and crippled power grids, leaving the convoy vulnerable. The Imperium fleet was thrown into disarray. Supply ships drifted helplessly, their escorts overwhelmed. The Iron Fist bellowed orders, but frustration was mounting among the ranks. Trekek's fury was barely contained. Contain the breaches. Find the rebels and Earth ships. Destroy them all. But the longer the battle dragged, the clearer it became that the Imperium faced not just one enemy, but many. In the Rebel Council chambers, Kalen Voss received encrypted data streams from Earth's command. Our coordinated strikes are causing delays, he reported. The Imperium's forces are stretched thin. A young rebel leader smiled. Earth's war is our war. Their fight has awakened hope across the galaxy. On the Valkyrie, Elena stared into the blackness of space. This is no longer about survival, she said quietly. It's about proving that even the smallest spark can ignite a revolution. Lieutenant Chen smiled. Then let's be that spark. The stage was set. Earth's prototype warships, a hidden coalition of rebels, and a galaxy on the brink of rebellion. The Imperium's empire trembled, facing the unthinkable, a war they had ignored for too long. The dark expanse beyond Mars shimmered with activity. Earth's fleet, though still outnumbered, had grown from a lone prototype to a formidable force of 5 warships. The Valkyrie led the formation, cutting through the void with a silent grace that belied the storm gathering within its hull. Captain Elena Torres stood on the bridge, eyes locked on the holographic map pulsing before her. Around her, officers moved with focused urgency, aware that every decision now carried the weight of humanity's future. Lieutenant Chen's voice crackled over the comms. Enemy convoy spotted, cargo vessels, armed escorts, estimated reinforcement, supplies for the Imperium fleet. Good, Elena replied. This is what we've been waiting for. General Malik's orders. Disrupt supply lines, delay their advance. No full-scale engagement unless absolutely necessary. Steeling themselves, the fleet slipped into the asteroid belt near the outer rim, using the chaotic debris as cover. Cerberus went dark, activating its advanced stealth field. Aegis readied drone batteries, its hull glowing softly with energy shields. As the convoy came into range, Elena's fingers danced over the controls. Deploy drone swarms. Begin electronic warfare. Target comms and sensor arrays first. From the Cerberus spider-like drone slipped into the shadows of the convoy's escort vessels, buzzing silently before releasing bursts of electromagnetic pulses. The Imperium ship's sensors flickered and died, their crews thrown into confusion. Shields are dropping on 3 escort frigates, reported Lieutenant Chen. Elena's voice was calm but firm. Focus fire on disabled targets. Avoid drawing attention to the fleet's main body. The Valkyrie's fold space weapons powered up, a faint hum growing louder as the rail lance prepared to fire. Elena made the call. Fire. A bolt of compressed energy ripped through space, faster than the eye could track, striking a heavy cruiser squarely. The vessel exploded in a ball of fire and debris. But the Imperium's response was immediate. From the nearby warp gate, a squadron of assault frigates emerged, their sleek hulls slicing through space. The flagship Iron Fist was close behind, its weapon systems glowing ominously. Lord Admiral Trevek's voice blared through encrypted channels. Destroy the Earthlings. Spare no one. Elena's jaw tightened. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Initiate stealth protocols. The Cerberus vanished into the asteroid field, dragging the pursuing frigates into a deadly maze. Aegis deployed drone swarms, creating a shifting wall of lethal machines that tore through enemy fighters. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the Aegis. One of the drone control nodes was hit. Damage sustained, the drone officer reported. We're losing drones faster than we can deploy. Elena's eyes narrowed. Focus on protecting the Valkyrie. We can't lose the spearhead. The battle raged fiercely. The Imperium frigates pressed harder, determined to break through. The Valkyrie danced through enemy fire, her advanced shields absorbing blows that would cripple lesser vessels. Lieutenant, Chen shouted, incoming missile volley targeting the Valkyrie. Elena ordered, activate Singularity Shield. A shimmering barrier formed around the Valkyrie, distorting space-time itself. The missiles warped mid-flight and detonated harmlessly. On board the Iron Fist, Trevek's fury was palpable. These humans defy all expectations. Increase firepower, use everything. But the Imperium fleet's cohesion faltered under the relentless guerrilla tactics. The surprise attacks on supply lines and the fleet's disarray had slowed their advance significantly. Back on Earth in the War Council chamber, General Malik watched the battle feeds intently. They're buying us time, Malik said quietly. But how long can we hold? Dr. Singh stepped forward, eyes fixed on the screen. Long enough to finish the next generation of ships, enough to build a fleet that can challenge the Imperium directly. In the Valkyrie's command center, Elena took a deep breath. This fight isn't just about destroying ships. It's about breaking the Imperium's will. Lieutenant Chen nodded. Every supply route we cut, every convoy we delay, it chips away at their power. The fleet pressed on, weaving through the asteroid field like ghosts, striking swiftly and fading before the Imperium could mount a coordinated counterattack. As the skirmish wound down, the Valkyrie's sensors picked up an incoming transmission. It was from the Outer Reach, a rebel ship carrying urgent news. Kalen Voss's voice crackled through. The Imperium's forces are stretched thin. We are ready to join the fight officially. We await your signal. Elena's lips curled into a faint smile. Then it's time to ignite the rebellion. The galaxy's long night was ending. Earth's prototype warships had struck the first blow, and a constellation of rebels now rallied behind their banner. The Imperium's empire was no longer unassailable. The war was just beginning. The Imperium's might had been shaken but not shattered. Across the endless expanse of space, the colossal fleet under Lord Admiral Trevek regrouped with grim determination. The scars of the skirmishes near the asteroid belt were evident. Damaged ships, lost supplies, and fractured morale, but the heart of the Imperium beat fiercely still. On board the Iron Fist, Trevek stood tall on the bridge, his face a mask of cold fury. Earth and its rebels dare challenge the Imperium's rule, he growled. They will learn the cost of rebellion. Rylena, the Zentari defector and his reluctant advisor, stepped forward. Lord Admiral, the humans have surprised us with their ingenuity and alliances. If we continue with brute force alone, we risk losing control of the outer reach. Trevik's eyes darkened. Then we adapt. But the Imperium's strength lies not just in ships and weapons. It is fear and order. We will tighten the noose around Earth and their rebellious allies. Meanwhile, deep within the outer reach, the rebel coalition prepared for their boldest move yet. The secret fleet, a mix of converted freighters, pirate vessels, and Earth's prototype warships, gathered in the shadow of an uncharted nebula. Kalen Voss stood before the assembled captains and commanders. This is our moment. The Imperium's grip weakens. With Earth's fleet at our side, we will strike their supply depots, cut off reinforcements, and ignite the fires of rebellion across their systems. A cheer rose from the crowd, voices mingling in hope and defiance. Aboard the Valkyrie, Captain Elena Torres monitored the coalition's preparations. She was no longer just Earth's warrior. She had become a symbol of a galactic uprising. "Lieutenant Chen," she said, "send our latest tactical data to the rebel commanders. We need precision and coordination." Chen's fingers flew over the console. Data packets encrypted and dispatched. They're ready. The first target was a massive Imperial supply station orbiting a barren moon in the Klystron system. The station, a fortress of steel and plasma cannons, supplied fuel, ammunition, and repairs for the Imperium fleet. The Coalition's attack fleet emerged from the nebula's shadows, silent and deadly. Elena's voice came over the comms. "Focus on disabling their defenses. We need that station offline." Drones from Aegis swarmed the station's exterior, hacking into power grids and sabotaging weapon arrays. Explosions ripped through the station as rebel fighters tore into docking bays and supply depots, but the Imperium was prepared. From nearby systems, reinforcements scrambled, heavy cruisers and assault frigates moved to intercept. "Enemy fleet incoming," Lieutenant Chen warned. Elena ordered, "Hold formation. Activate stealth on Cerberus. Engage with drones and long-range rail lance fire. We must protect the rebel ships." The battle erupted in a dazzling display of plasma, missiles, and electronic warfare. The Imperium's reinforcements pressed hard, but the Coalition's unconventional tactics and Earth's prototype ships created chaos. Amidst the chaos, a sudden explosion rocked the Helios, one of Earth's newest warships. "Shields down. Hull breach," the damage control officer shouted. Elena's heart pounded. "Send emergency repairs and drone support. Chen, cover her." The Valkyrie dove into the fray, weaving between enemy fire to draw attention away from the crippled Helios. On the bridge of the Iron Fist, Trevik's expression twisted with rage and disbelief. These humans and their allies fight with reckless abandon and unparalleled tactics. Rylena interjected calmly. "They adapt quickly. Their unity and innovation are unlike anything we've seen." Trevik slammed his fist on the console. "Then we destroy that unity. Strike at Earth's surface installations. Show them the true cost of rebellion." Far below, on Earth's surface, the warning alarms blared. Strategic outposts and research facilities powered down as security. Forces scrambled to defend against expected orbital strikes. General Malik coordinated defense forces. "We can't afford to lose any of our research hubs. They're the backbone of our technology." Dr. Singh monitored sensor data. "Our best chance is to keep the Imperium off balance, hit them first, keep them guessing." Back in space, the Coalition's assault crippled the supply station. Fires blazed, and explosions echoed across the void. As the Imperium fleet retreated, their damage severe, the rebel captains cheered. Kalen Voss transmitted a message back to Earth. "This victory is only the beginning. The Imperium will crumble if we stand together." Elena allowed herself a rare smile. "We've made them bleed." But as the fleet slipped away toward safety, an ominous signal pulsed through the Valkyrie's sensors. A massive Imperium dreadnought, unlike any before. Warping into the system, Lieutenant Chen's voice was tense. "Captain, incoming vessel. It's a dreadnought-class warship, heavily armed and shielded. This changes everything." Elena's gaze hardened. "Prepare for the fight of our lives." The tide of war was rising. The Imperium would not surrender easily, but neither would Earth. The void trembled as the colossal dreadnought loomed into view, its immense silhouette blotting out distant stars. The Valkyrie's sensors struggled to process the overwhelming mass of weapon arrays and energy shields. It was the Imperium's latest terror, a warship designed not just to fight, but to dominate entire star systems. Captain Elena Torres stood rigid on the bridge, heart pounding. This is unlike any enemy we've faced. Lieutenant Chen's hands flew across the controls. Our weapons won't penetrate those shields easily. The Dreadnought's reactor is protected by quantum phase armor. Elena clenched her fists. We don't have the luxury of retreat. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Deploy all drone swarms. Aegis, support Valkyrie with shield projection. The Coalition's fleet spread out, weaving through the shattered remains of the supply station. Orbit. Rebel fighters darted like shadows, attempting to distract the Dreadnought's sensors and missile batteries. Kalen Voss's voice crackled through the comms. This is the moment we either break their hold or fall beneath it. Elena's voice was steel. Then we fight like humanity's survival depends on it. Because it does. The Dreadnought's main guns charged with a deep hum that resonated through space itself. Without warning, they unleashed a salvo of plasma beams, slicing through the asteroid debris and obliterating a squadron of rebel frigates. Brace for impact, Chen shouted, as the Valkyrie twisted sharply, narrowly avoiding the deadly arcs. Amara Singh, aboard the Ark, monitored the battle remotely. Her fingers trembled slightly as she adjusted parameters on Earth's secret weapon, the prototype quantum singularity disruptor, a device powerful enough to destabilize even the Dreadnought's advanced reactor. It's now or never, she whispered. Elena's tactical display flickered under sustained assault systems straining. The Dreadnought closed in, shields blazing. Prepare Singularity Lance, Elena ordered. We'll use the disruptor to create an opening. Cerberus darted forward, cloaked and silent, to deliver the quantum disruptor payload close to the Dreadnought's hull. Chen's voice was tense. Deploying disruptor. It's primed. A blinding pulse erupted from the disruptor, rippling through the Dreadnought's armor. The massive vessel shuddered violently as its quantum phase shields fluctuated and failed. Now, Elena commanded. The Valkyrie's fold space rail lance fired with devastating precision, a beam of compressed energy slicing through the crippled Dreadnought's core. The Dreadnought's reactor erupted in a cataclysmic explosion, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. Silence fell. The rebel fleet and Earth's warships regrouped, battered but victorious. Kalen Voss's voice came through, filled with awe. They have shattered the Imperium's strongest weapon. But the victory was bittersweet. The Imperium fleet retreated in disarray, but their menace remained. Lord Admiral Trevik's voice echoed in Elena's mind, a vow of vengeance that would haunt the stars. Back on Earth, the War Council received news of the battle. General Malik addressed the assembly. This victory is a turning point. The Imperium's grip weakens. The galaxy stirs. Dr. Singh added, Our technology and unity have proven decisive. But the war is far from over. Elena stood quietly, knowing this was only the first chapter of a much larger saga. In the outer reach, rebel worlds erupted in celebration. The spark from Earth had ignited a galaxy-wide flame, and in the shadows, other powers took note. The era of the Imperium was ending, and a new era was dawning, forged by the defiance of one underestimated planet. Elena looked out at the stars, voice steady. We were ignored, underestimated, but we have shown the galaxy that humanity will not be broken. Lieutenant Chen smiled beside her. The future is ours to shape. The war was far from over, but Earth's prototype warships had changed the course of history. The galaxy would never be the same again.